If you're eating, you might want to stop before this one. She says that Donald Trump is daddy. And I'm going to argue that this is the real Trump derangement syndrome. I think this is one of the most revealing clips that you will see all month. It's not about a policy debate. It's not about tariffs. It's not about what the top marginal tax rate should be. This is how the Trump movement sees power. The clip is of Caroline Sunshine. Caroline Sunshine is known as a political aide and a former actress who worked as a White House staffer during Trump's first term back in 2018. And she says to her fellow Fox News panelists, Trump is daddy and daddy has cut you off. Take a listen to this.
Oh, you and I both, Jason. I'm also born and raised in this state. Let me try to put this in terms that Gavin Newsom will understand. Donald Trump is daddy. And daddy cut you off. And daddy said you can't use his credit card anymore. Because why should California and Gavin Newsom be getting federal funds when they don't even follow federal law? Nobody is obstructing federal immigration law more than the state of California and Gavin Newsom. You don't get a penny if you're not going to enforce federal law.
Yeah. Now, this is not, this is sort of a superfluous comment, but I saw a lot of people who wrote to me about this clip mentioning it. There is this MAGAification of what women are expected to look like. If you look up Caroline Sunshine, number one, you might be shocked to learn that she's only 30 years old. And a lot of people wrote in saying, David, I thought that this was a 50-year-old woman who had had work done. This is a 30-year-old who has restyled herself in this Mar-a-Lago image. This is not primarily a show about the physical appearance of people, but there is something very interesting sociocultural going on about the women that kind of are adjacent and ancillary to the MAGA movement, that they all seem to be whatever they're doing. It might be styling, it might be surgery. I don't even know what it is. I don't care. But there's a certain look that they are expected to have. And Caroline Sunshine certainly meets that requirement. And Trump is daddy. She's also saying all of the stuff that's expected. Now, let's take a moment to analyze this. This is a grown adult describing the president of the United States, a nearly 80-year-old man who has been accused by dozens of women of inappropriate behavior, which, by the way, we will get to in the next segment, as a father figure who controls the credit card. He controls access to the checkbook, to the resources. And this is where these cult dynamics, they're not really abstract. They're very literal. In cult psychology, one of the defining traits is infantilization. Now, of course, there's also the deification of the leader. That's going on as well. But the infantilization is a big part of it. The leader is a sort of parent. The followers are the children. And the leader doesn't so much govern. He rewards and punishes. He's a strict father. You are not a citizen with rights. You are a dependent. And you either behave or you are going to get cut off. And that is the framing that she uses. Daddy cut you off. Daddy said you can't use his credit card, referring to stopping funding to blue states over various different controversies. And notice what is being kind of normalized here. She's talking about withholding federal funds, money that states already paid into, as if this is an allowance that Trump hands out if you've been a good boy or a good girl. If you've been obedient, you will get the money that you are already, by the way, entitled to. That's extortion logic. It is not a functional democracy where federal funding is allocated by law and by formulas and by need. In an authoritarian world, funding becomes leverage. You might have to beg for it. You've got to comply and then you'll get paid. And if you dissent, you're going to suffer. That is the system that she is endorsing. And the part people aren't thinking through enough is that this game of deciding who deserves the federal money based on your behavior or loyalty to Trump, it doesn't stop where they believe that it stops. At its logical conclusion, it destroys the country. Red states depend on federal funds. Blue states are net contributors of federal funds. If you applied this daddy cuts you off logic based on political allegiance, eventually the states that are going to get wrecked truly beyond repair are the red states. And that tells you something important, which is that none of this is about fiscal responsibility. This is just about who can we dominate? And dominance requires a dominator. And for Caroline Sunshine, it is Daddy Trump. And if you're wondering, like, why does this really weird language keep showing up? That is why. Trump as daddy, Trump is the protector, Trump is the one who decides who gets to eat. And this is also why criticism of Trump to a lot of his supporters feels like a personal attack. You're not just disagreeing with Trump or the policy, you're disrespecting dad at the end of the day. This is the real Trump derangement syndrome, not people reacting strongly to Trump's authoritarianism and saying, hey, this is bad, this is un-American. The real Trump derangement syndrome are people like Caroline Sunshine, so deranged that they surrender their agency as adults to Donald Trump. The facts don't matter when politics become like a family hierarchy of sorts. If daddy lies, you defend him. If daddy fails, you blame someone else. If daddy says, I really won the 2020 election, you go out there and you go, daddy really won the 2020 election. If he fails to lower grocery prices, you find a scapegoat like Biden. And if other people get punished by the dad, you cheer. And the danger, of course, is that this escalates and that there is nothing that will stop Trump. So this is abuse dressed up as authority. That's what this clip reveals. Not that Trump is daddy, but that a disturbing number of people, including, I guess, Caroline Sunshine, are perfectly happy being the children in this entire political system. Every time you Google your name, you will probably find dozens of sites that expose your personal information. This can include phone number, home address, family details. It's just sitting there waiting to be scraped or abused. Incogni is a privacy service. They go after these sites on your behalf. They contact the data brokers. They demand your data be removed, which the brokers are legally required to do. Incogni will automatically remove your information from hundreds of the biggest and most notorious data broker sites, but you're not just limited to those. You can use Incogni's custom removal if you find your info on a website outside of Incogni's default list. The team at Incogni will work to get that information removed. This is how you protect yourself and your family from identity theft, financial scams, harassment, even AI-powered profiling by ad companies. And Incogni's data removal process is the only one verified independently by Deloitte. This gives them a unique level of credibility. Try Incogni risk-free and get 60% off when you go to incogni.com/Pakman and use the code Pakman. The link is in the description.